Okay, wait, I just want to preface this video might sound weird, but this is for anyone who wants to find the most effective way to really heal themselves. And while self-healing is hard, it's definitely essential to becoming the happiest and brightest version of yourself. Hi guys, and welcome to Weekly Dose of Sunshine, the channel where I provide you guys with tips and tricks on how to become the happiest and brightest versions of yourself through the powers of your mind, body, and soul. This week I wanted to say welcome to our very first video covering the topic of the soul. Today we will be talking all about shadow work. What it is, why you should care, how to do it, and where to get started. So let's get right into it. I just want to preface by saying this is my personal view on shadow work and how I like to do it, plus my own opinion about how I perceive our shadow selves. Everyone's journey with shadow work and discovering their shadow selves is going to be different, but at the same time, the concept of doing so and the principles that go along with it are roughly the same for everyone. So let's start off with the most important question. What is shadow work? I feel like the term shadow work throws some people off guard because it sounds like this dark and mystical, possibly even super scary thing. Almost like it's something that should be reserved for a select few who genuinely understand what's going on. However, in my opinion, shadow work is basically just a form of self-therapy. It's all about taking the time to heal your trauma, eliminate any negative self-talk or beliefs that you may hold about yourself. And it's also a good way to release any coping mechanisms and bad habits that you may be holding on to, even if you know they are no longer serving you. It is by far the best way to explore your inner thoughts surrounding more of the negative or shadow aspects of yourself on a personal and individual level. What I mean by this is it's the perfect way to heal yourself on your own. And it is far more effective than just sitting there and thinking about all of your problems in your head. The concept of shadow psychology itself was developed by the 20th century Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung. However, the actual term and concept of shadow work was not coined until 20 years after Jung died, by philosopher Ivan Illich in 1981. So, what are some of the benefits to doing shadow work, and ultimately, why should you care? Well, Carl Jung believed that everyone has a shadow version of themselves, which, put simply without sounding like a psychology textbook, basically means we all carry our own set of negative emotions, feelings, and thoughts. And if we don't take the time to learn about, address, and overcome them, they will overcome us, causing us to live a bleak and negative life in the shadows. Which you can argue that sounds far off and dramatic, but in all seriousness, if you open up your eyes and look around, anyone who spends the majority of their lifetime feeling sad, depressed, defeated, those who are filled with guilt, shame, self-hatred, those who participate in negative self-talk, bad habits, and self-destructive tendencies, whether they're severe or minor, are all being suffocated by their shadow. So the reason you should care about shadow work, the reason you should be excited about it and want to participate in it, is because it will help you shed any negative or dark parts of yourself. It will seriously help you address all of the things that you might not necessarily like about yourself, help you let go of all of your bad habits, and while it will never truly 100% go away, it will help you take control over your shadow, making sure that it is incapable of controlling your life. This alone will bring you so much inner peace. It will allow you to better understand yourself and the struggles of those around you. You will feel so much lighter, cultivate patience, and honestly really come to fall in love with yourself during the process. At least that's what I've gained from my experience. By taking the time to do shadow work, you will become a much happier and brighter version of yourself, which is what we are all about on this channel. So, down to the good stuff. You're probably wondering, how do I do shadow work? And honestly, really, this breaks down into two steps. Step number 1 would be noticing your triggers. I would honestly start by making a list of all of the things you find that bother you. On paper, just in your notes on your phone. Take note of the way that certain things cause you to become agitated, angry, annoyed. And don't be afraid to even list your coping mechanisms that you know are causing you far more harm than good at this point in your life. For example, take notice when you're getting really angry at the person who's driving the literal speed limit in front of you. Or when you get defensive the moment you catch someone staring at you in public. Or when that need to eat a whole entire bag of Cheez-Its hits at around 11:30 at night. Why are all of these negative emotions surfacing? Note anything and everything that is causing you to react from a place that is less than love and light, no matter how cheesy and dumb it may sound. Then for step number 2, hopefully y'all already guessed it, we have journaling. I'm sorry, I won't sing anymore. For anyone that's been on this channel for a while, you already know how much I pop off about journaling. It is by far one of the most effective things you can do for yourself, and this just proves it yet again. Now, if you feel like you're still lost and don't quite know where to start or what questions to ask yourself, I got you. Okay, before we get started, I just want to say that these questions are not the end-all be-all. You can definitely do so many more than these, and also I find it's really helpful when I go with just personally what I'm feeling for the day, but these are just some examples and honestly some questions I've asked myself depending off of the following moods. So here's some good questions to get started with. Pause to read, but here are some good questions for the days you feel sad, for the days you feel angry or upset, or even the days you want to learn more about yourself, because that's always a good thing. However, if you can't identify your triggers, while you can still definitely answer the questions we just went over, you might find it more helpful to answer the following questions, or rather take the following approach. I want you to look at the list you've compiled, pick the first thing or one of the things, and ask yourself this. Why does this, fill in your blank, make me so blank? Which you're going to insert your negative emotion, sad, angry, upset, whatever it may be. Once you've answered that question, ask yourself why. And just keep asking yourself why you feel this way until you can go no further. The closer you can get to the core, the more powerful the exercise will be. The moment you start figuring out why you are having these reactions is the moment you can start healing. As a little side note, I must say sometimes shadow work can be really difficult, especially when you start to dive into the deepest, darkest parts of your shadow. But as always, make sure you are being kind to yourself. The whole point of doing shadow work is to help you understand yourself, along with your struggles, and how to work with yourself in order to overcome them. This is not an invitation to beat yourself up, but rather the opportunity to heal and bond with yourself. So, when you are exploring why certain things make you react from a place of negativity, make sure it's out of curiosity and not scrutiny. The harder it gets, the deeper and more honest you are being with yourself, which means the closer you are to truly healing and feeling free. Shadow work is a really personal experience for everyone. The style I like to take is whenever I notice I'm having a trigger and I just can't shake it, like if there is some negative emotion that's overcoming me in a day, like I don't feel like I am capable of doing this, or I feel like no one really understands me or where I'm coming from, or I feel like a fraud and I have no reason to be starting a YouTube channel to share the things I've learned with other people. Whenever I have a really big negative emotion that sticks out to me, I sit down, crack out my journal, and ask myself, like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel like I am not good enough? Why do I feel like no one cares about me? Why do I feel like I am a fraud? Then once I've let all of the negative emotions just pour out of me, I like to follow up by asking myself, but why is this not true? or what can I do to overcome this? You're not always necessarily going to end a shadow work session on a positive note, but anytime you can, I definitely would recommend it. Because like I said before, this isn't an easy process, and sometimes it's going to be really hard. So the more credit you can give to yourself, and the more you can be kind and optimistic in the process, I find it typically goes a lot better and leaves me feeling light and in a more stable, calm place, and like I've really put those negative emotions and feelings to rest. So I hope this helps. I'm happy to do a part 2 or just another video on this in the future. I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our first video covering the topic of the soul. As always, please share it with friends or family who you think it may also benefit. And make sure to show your shadow that your sunshine burns bright. Have a fantastic week, and I will catch you guys next Sunday.